I was never really worried. Did you buy all that? That was a gag yesterday. I wasn't really worried. We always knew it would all be fine. I can't believe you lot were worried. Hello and welcome to part 50 of the Bolton Battle. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have two very important games in League One, away against Tranmere and home against Crewe. But more important than any of that is the fact that we've turned it around, everybody. We're 4 games unbeaten again. I mean, that run was awful. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight defeats. It was a new club record. Remarkably, as it stands right now, we could set a new club record for consecutive defeats and win the title in the same season, which, I mean, that's got to be a first for any club ever. Since we managed to turn things around, and we did do it by abandoning the silly system that we used in the Millwall game and just going back to the normal wing-back system. Mark Parnell got a goal early on, and it was in the local derby against Blackburn, and we just defended like nobody's business. And I think winning the derby sorted us out. We then beat Colchester, drew in the top of the table clash against Swindon. That was first against second at the time, and then beat Chesterfield as well. So as it stands right now, we're top of the league again, and we've got a game in hand. So, I mean, that's with 6 games to go. We can't blow it again from here, surely. Our season looks ridiculous. We did okay, bit of a wobble, did really okay, big wobble. And hopefully we're now going to be back into doing okay again, and we can just see out these last 6 games. That's all we need to do. Before I go any further, I do want to just apologise as well. Well, maybe it's a potential apology. Delete as appropriate. If the sound is a bit iffy today, it's because I've got a new microphone. That's this thing you can see here. It's a microphone. If I've not worked out how to use it yet. I think it's working all right. If it's not, apologies. I'll endeavour to fix it for tomorrow, but I won't know until I'm editing it back. It sounded all right in the little test I did. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into today's game. We've just got to win matches now. We have got that little bit of a cushion of having a game in hand, so we can afford to lose one. But we don't want to. We want to just keep winning. We want to wrap this title up and bring a ridiculous season to a close. And celebrate 50 episodes of the Bolton Battle. Who knew? So, our team for today, we've got Jordan Barrett in goal. Back three of Thomas Pants and Bagley. White and Jennings are our fullbacks because I believe Alonso has picked up a little bit of a knock. He's suspended. I knew there was something wrong with him. Then we've got Martin and Durant in midfield because Connor Key is also suspended. And then John Jones in behind Semedo and Parnell. Semedo is in the best form he's ever been in a Bolton shirt. I think he probably watched back yesterday's episode and heard me accusing him of being the troublemaker. And since then, he's been on a decent little run of form. Where are we? Let's have a look. So he, in his last 2 games, he's got 3 goals. He missed the Chesterfield game because he was out with a little knock. He's back now today, though, and hot off the back of 2 excellent games. He's comfortably the 2 best games he's played for us. So hopefully that will continue going into today's game. And Parnell in cracking form as well, at least for the season as a whole. He's not great over his last 5 games, but we'll forget about that. We don't worry about that kind of thing. I'm a little bit worried that we're missing 2 key players in Alonso and Key. But hopefully the two we've got in have played. I mean, it must be getting on for 400 games for Bolton between them. You'd like to think that between the 2 of them, they could put on a performance when they know we really, really need it. And goodness me, do we need it today? We're Tranmere in the league. They're just outside the playoffs, so they've got every incentive to try and pin us back and take advantage of the fact that we have shown ourselves to be a little bit sloppy at times this season. Both teams are going to go into this thinking the game is winnable. Hopefully, we'll be the ones who turn out to be right. But, you know, it seems any time you lot turn up now, form changes. And we've just got back into some good form. And you lot are here. Brilliant. Form's going to dip again, isn't it? I mean, it's been the most ridiculous season I've ever been a part of. I've never known a season of ups and downs. Certainly not one that has left us after such a poor run in such a bizarrely still quite strong position. A game in hand, a point clear at the top. We just have to win 5 of our last 6 games and we win the league. We've done that kind of form multiple times over the course of the season. We just need to reproduce it now and not go on another one of those runs of defeats. That being said, we don't look like doing it at the moment, do we? Tranmere are getting all the play, at least in the highlights. And there you go. They're 1-0 up. It's because you lot are here. Oh, I hope the new microphone is not cursed. I like it. Don't want a cursed new microphone. But this is the one. I said we can afford to lose one. We're losing this one. Don't worry. I mean, again, the ridiculous way the form of all the other teams around us has been going as well. Everyone's having weird seasons. So as it stands right now, everyone's playing today. So this isn't our game in hand. We're losing, but still top of the league. So if everything stays as it is, we could lose this one, lose another one, and as long as we win the other 4, we'll still be all right, even if everyone else wins every game they've got left. It's been such a weird season, and no one seems like they want to get promoted into the Championship. And having Posh and Cambridge both in there as the main challengers is weird. The team I support and the team I dislike the most because of who I support are the 2 teams up there with me. What a weird season. Right, Durant out to White. Let's make something. We're finally getting a highlight for ourselves. John Jones sprays it out wide to Jennings. We know what he can do from there. Crosses in, and I think Semedo nodded it down to Parnell in the end, but it doesn't matter who nodded it down because Parnell has scored. It's 1-1, and let's have a little look at it. Back in 3 dimensions. Jennings with the cross in. Okay, Semedo didn't nod down. He just got tackled that was weird. Parnell was there to sniff it out and grab himself the equaliser, though. And hopefully that'll be enough for us to get our tails up and go on and win this game. Because if everyone else is slipping up again, a win today puts us into a crazy strong position. Semedo's in. We're 2-1 up. We've got 2 goals in, a couple of minutes there? Delgon de Barros Semedo. That's his 4th goal in 3 games. After me blaming him yesterday. Okay, I know, in fact, let's not. We'll say it is still his fault. It's still your fault until you get your 20th goal of the season. I mean, crazy situation as it is now. And we know this is all subject to change depending on what goes on in those other games. But if everything stays as it is, because of our goal difference, we'll have 5 games left to play, and we'll be able to lose 2 of them. Which is quite handy for us because we're rubbish. But Semedo has just made it 3-1. He doesn't want to be the scapegoat. He's determined that he's going to be the man. Martin with a cheeky little back heel. Jennings just drives the cross in low, and we've got players queuing up for that. I think is that Jones next to Semedo. Everyone wants to grab the goal. Semedo actually gets it. Jennings with his 2nd assist of the game. Glenn Jennings is reminding everybody why I used to rave about him when we were down in the conference. I always knew he'd end up being a good player, and if it wasn't for Alonso, I think he'd have a lot of games for Bolton under his belt now. I don't think there's a better right wing back that we've come up against, certainly, than Glenn Jennings, and he is a little bit unfortunate to be at the club at the same time as someone who's going to play in the Premier League one day, in Enrique Alonso. Right, Tom White not having the best of games, but we don't have Booth on the bench. We do have Steve Hussey on the bench. Goodness me, has it really come to this? 23 years old. I mean, look, he's finally getting a bit of game time this year. He's never going to be any good. We'll release him in the summer. But he's getting a little game because why shouldn't he? Why have we not got Booth on the bench? He must be injured for him not to be on the bench, because he could come on for either of these 2, White or Durant. As it is, we'll bring on Steve Hussey. Why not? Let's have a look at him, see if he's any good. Which means it's crying out for Pennock to be a shadow striker and Hussey to be the deep-lying midfield player, deep-lying playmaker, because he's a creative attacking player. He's a playmaker. Let's let him make some play. Hopefully that isn't going to be enough to let Tranmere back into the game, because we have got a very inexperienced lad in midfield now. He's not young particularly. He's like 23, but he's played. This is only the 3rd game of his career because he's never been good enough for us. He would have, if we hadn't have raced up the leagues the way we have, he'd have been a cracking signing 4 years ago, and he'd be captain by now. As it is, he came in when we were in the conference, and wasn't expecting to have to become a League One player as part of his development. But he's not made a fool of himself today, has he? Pennock finds Hussey. Hussey, that was a beautiful ball through to Parnell. I mean, he looked like a proper footballer there. Perhaps he is a proper footballer. Perhaps we should have been playing him all these years. Pennock now loses the ball, but it doesn't matter because there's a minute left. We're not going to concede 2 goals in a minute, surely. And that is the kind of stupid thing that you should never say when the camera's rolling. Right, Barrett takes the goal kick. I mean, we must be wrapping this up now. They're going to get one, though, aren't they? Just to really make me panic for the last 30 seconds. White, just lump it clear. Don't try and do anything fancy. He's sort of combined the two because he lumped it forward and Parnell almost got onto it because it was lumped diagonally and it was quite a good ball in the end. But luckily, it's us with all the pressure. As the final whistle blows, we win 3-1. We're 3 points clear at the top of the league. We still have a game in hand as well. Actually, we're only 1 point. Posh dipped in right at the last minute, didn't they? I mean, that is a very late winner from them, surely. So we're actually only 1 point. So it's not quite as rosy at the top as we thought it was. Let's see when that goal went in. 93rd minute. Just to keep the pressure on a little bit. And now we're playing Crewe, who are... I mean, they're well down the league, but they've just beaten a playoff team 4-0. So they've got a little bit about them. Right, second game of our Easter weekend doubleheader. But before we get into that, I've completely forgotten there has been a rather significant change behind the scenes at Bolton since you were last with me. Let's not give this any of the credit for the turnaround in form. This happened after we'd gone 3 games unbeaten again. But long-time assistant manager Henry Ellison has gone off to manage Fleetwood. He's still only 31 years old. He's been with us quite a long while now. I'm going to take all the credit for him. Gave him his first job in football. Was one of my first signings when I arrived at Bolton, actually. Brought him in as the under-18s assistant manager. And here he is 6 years later, having been appointed full-on assistant manager 2 years later. 4 years as my assistant. He's now managing Fleetwood in League 1, I want to say, or League 2. But, well, there you go. They're going to get relegated from League 2. But either way, quite impressed that that we've managed to grow a player who'd never had a coaching job before, grow him into being a manager. He hasn't followed on he's got my direct attacking, adventurous, closing down playing style. He hasn't taken the formation with him though, but everything else is very influenced by me. I better be on his preferred peoples. There you go. Favoured personnel. Oh, isn't that nice? So his replacement is awesome. Sergei Palencia, 43-year-old Spanish assistant manager, but he has had time as a proper manager. Look at these stats for a League One assistant manager, and look at this career that he's had in real life. I know we're going back 25 years now, but in real life, he plays for Barcelona B, so it might be that you've even heard of him. He then went through a spell at Wolfsburg, Barcelona, sort of drifting between Barcelona and Barcelona B, never really getting any game time, I don't think. I don't know if we've got a way to look at that. Never really getting much game time for the Barcelona first team, played a couple of appearances, but did then move on to Everton, and Leicester and Rotherham, and West Brom, had a long career in the Premier League before disappearing back off to Spain to finish off his career, and then start a pretty successful coaching career as well. He spent some time as assistant manager at various clubs. I don't know who they are. Are they Spanish teams again, maybe? Before turning up at Brighton, moving on to Stoke. I mean, these are Premier League clubs. Was only at Stoke as assistant manager for a month. And somehow managed to take over as manager. And then got sacked from there because he wasn't any good at management. Went to Walsall as assistant manager. Was there 5 months before being appointed manager, and then got sacked from there as well, I think. Oh no, he was only interim. Oh no, he was interim manager, then hired as also manager, but then ultimately sacked again. So got to be a little on my toes for the next 4 or 5 months because he'll be well ready to take over from me if I get sacked. But let's face it, that's not going to happen, is it? So I'm pretty impressed that we've got a decent assistant manager. The only problem is he'll probably drift off and take the first managerial job he's offered, and we'll be replacing him again before long. But in the meantime, certainly panic signing at the end of March. He seems to have done all right. So that's why he's here. That's why you don't see Henry Ellison doing team talks and stuff anymore. So tactics for the Crewe game. What was that? That's the new symbol for tactics. There you go. Tactics. Tactics for the Crew game, very manly. We've not really changed very much. Mr. Beige comes in at the back. Pennick comes in the attacking midfield spot. The two who are suspended are still suspended. And we don't really need to change anything because we did quite well. So let's get straight into the game. I'm going to try and imagine I live in a world where I didn't just do tactics. I could have edited it. If I'd have just done it once, I could have edited it out. Why did I have to make it a thing? Why did you let me make it a thing? Ridiculous. When everyone on YouTube's doing it a year down the line, just remember where that all began. Right. What's happening? This isn't a game in hand, I don't think. Again, let's double check. No, not a game in hand. Everyone's playing today because it's the Easter weekend. So the last game was Good Friday. This is the Easter Monday fixture. So we've not had long to recover. But we pick up a win. There's only a couple of games left. And we're in a very strong position if we win the game, especially, I mean, we're desperate for Posh to drop some points. It doesn't look like they're going to, though. They've gone ahead in their game, so that puts them top of the league for the time being. Remember, we do still have a game in hand and a few games left after this. Oh, good save from Barrett. We made it pretty difficult for ourselves there. How many games have we got after this? So after this one, there's 4 games left. I'm not sure what we're going to do in the next episode. A lot of that depends on how things go today. We might even look to do all 4 of them, and just because it's a pretty exciting running. Semedo forces a good save out of their goalkeeper. We are still yet to create a clear-cut chance today. That's something we need to work on and improve as a matter of urgency going into half-time, but at least we're not losing yet, eh? And next game, we've got Key and Alonso back, so that's going to be a bit of a boost. Mr. Beige and Pants combine, and there was a goalmouth scramble, and unfortunately we're not able to make anything more of it. But I mean, that was our first big chance. It still didn't go down as a clear-cut chance, and that's a disaster. They've just broken on us there, and breakaway goal from our own corner. That shouldn't be happening, and I guess it's because it is Mr. Beige and Pants involved at the other end. That's not good, is it? I mean, look at that. It's just a ball over the top. Nobody can keep up. All 3 of our centre-backs chasing back. Nobody's making it there. It's just sloppy. Sloppy. We're 1-0 down. We've got a lot to do after the half-time break. Although, Posh must have gone behind in their game because somehow, right on the stroke of half-time, we went back to the top of the league. We're now level on points. Us, Swindon and Posh, level on points at 72 points. Southend are only 1 point behind. It is the most ridiculous league table I have ever experienced, either at Football Manager or Real World. Mr. Beige forces another save from their goalkeeper. Mr. Beige wants a goal today. He doesn't play a lot anymore, but he's got a phenomenal name. And, I mean, he's playing out of his skin today, bless his cotton socks. He knows he's not good enough, but he's desperate to get himself a goal, and we've seen him do it before. This season. Right, Jennings, can he muster up another cross? He does, and that was a beautiful cross. Semedo gets in and scores yet again. We're finally, after 6 months of waiting, getting what we've been paying for Semedo. Persistence and loyalty being repaid here. We knew he was a proven goal scorer at this level, and there he is, proving that he can score goals at this level. Who'd have thought? Right, we're now 1 point clear of the little chasing pack, but anything can happen in their games. I mean, who are they? Are they playing each other? It feels like they can't keep slipping up the way they are unless they're drawing with each other or something. Let's have a look. Where's latest scores? Cool. Charlton are being thumped again. They were beaten by Crew last game. 4-0, I think. Right, Posh are playing Port Vale and drawing 1-1. Who else are we looking for? Swindon. They don't exist. Swindon are not playing anybody, apparently. They must be beating somebody because they've jumped over Posh. You've all seen it and you're shouting at me. Oh, there you go. Swindon away at Orient, winning their game. So, how do we make this go away now? There you go. Let's make some substitutions. We still need to chase and win. Matt Parnell's not having a good game, so we're going to bring on Joe Shaw for him. Swap the front 2 over. Semedo into his more natural poacher role. Did we put Booth on the bench? We did remember to put Booth on the bench, so he can come on for Tom White, who's just, I think he's just tired. He's played pretty much every game for 2 years now, and he's just gone off the boil a little bit over the last half a dozen games. So I think a rest might not do him any harm at all. Right, let's bring John Jones on. John Jones on for Pennock. Hopefully, John Jones with fresh legs for 10 minutes and an informed Semedo in front of him could just create some havoc. We need one of his special little through balls. Oh, Barrett does well to collect that. Because we've not got either of the two assist machines at fullback at the moment, so we are relying a little bit more on creating it from midfield. Who was saying that? Awful analysis. Ben Booth with the cross, even though he can't cross. John Jones nips in and scores, even though that's what Pennock's supposed to do. John Jones is supposed to be the one who creates all this stuff. And we're now 2-1 up. And again, just like we were towards the end of the last game, we're 3 points clear at the top of the league with a game in hand. Now, we know Posh could still turn things around in their game and close that gap up against Swindon. Are already winning. So they're not going to get any closer to us than they are right now. It's Posh we need to keep an eye on. But as it stands right now, and we said it in the last game, we'll say it again, if it finishes like this, we can go and afford to lose 2 of our final 4 games and still win the league, which is a bizarre situation to be in considering how the last couple of months have gone. Martin is in now. Lee Martin, club captain, longest serving player still here, played over 200 games for the club now. He never, ever, ever scores. I mean, that feels a bit like the famous Tony Adams goal from 1998 when Arsenal won the double, I think. And he had no business scoring the kind of goal he scored. Anyone who's old like me remembers and knows what I'm talking about. If you're young, apologies. But that's what just happened there. Because he had no business at all being in that position and scoring that kind of goal. But he does. What an important goal it is. That might just be the goal that wins us the league. And it must be bittersweet for Lee Martin because he must know another promotion means he's gone. He wasn't ever really good enough for League One. He's certainly not good enough for the Championship. We signed him as a Conference North player, remember? Right, let's have a look. How did everything finish? Right, there you go. We're 3 points clear of Swindon, 3 points clear of Posh. We've got a game in hand on both of them. Much better goal difference. We can lose 2 of the last 4 games and potentially still win the league. This is getting a bit exciting. I think we're just going to... Oh, look, we're playing Posh on the last day. We're away at London Road on the last day of the season. This is my favourite season of Football Manager ever. Right, next episode will be the next 2, and then we'll do another episode for the final 2. It's unlikely we're going to have to worry about playoffs. If we do, we'll worry about that further down the line. But what a run into the season this is being, and what a ridiculous season it is. If you're enjoying this, and if you're not enjoying this, I don't understand what you watch Football Manager videos for, because this is mental. I'd love to be watching this. Make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.